And let's head to the United States. Joining me live is Republican strategist John Jordan. John, a huge week in American politics. The midterms, there's still a lot of unknowns, a lot of variables still at play. What did you make of it all?
Well, if you're a Republican, it was disappointing in terms of number of seats. Certainly that's playing out in the media. But on the Republicans were also heartened by the enormous gains made with Latino and Black voters, which bodes well for 2024. Initially, Republicans actually for Congress, even though they only gained a few seats and didn't live up to media expectations, got 6 million more votes than Democrats did. But a lot of this was Republicans doing a lot better in Democrat areas, but not quite getting over the top. So number of seats, it was a disappointment. Demographically, it means some very good things going into 2024. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and most of those good things, or well, not most, but like a heavy focus is on the sort of huge performance by Ron DeSantis, a massive win for him when you're talking about this next generation of Republicans coming through.
Yeah, and it's how he won and where he won. The red wave doesn't begin to describe what happened in Florida. Ron DeSantis won in the most heavily Democrat counties of Florida, including the most heavily Latino and African American. He actually took by a majority of Miami-Dade and Palm Beach County, which are historic Democrat strongholds, and basically the huge concentration of Democrat votes that Republicans had to offset in other parts of the state. So the fact that he can do that there means that the right candidate can replicate that in 2024 nationwide.
Well, that begs the question, what happens with the Republicans? Because we reported last week that Donald Trump, over the next few days, is going to signal a run for 2024. He said Ron DeSantis is just ordinary. I mean, you'd never question the strength of his ego, the former president. But this is going to be quite a battle.
Yeah, I think that for the first time, Donald Trump now has an opponent inside the Republican Party that is just as liked and just as respected by many of the hardcore Trumpers, MAGA folks, as he is. Ron DeSantis is a beloved figure in the Republican Party and among conservatives. And they didn't take kindly to it when President Trump went after him and called him Ron Desanctimonious and ridiculed him. It's one thing when Trump does it to the media, does it to the Democrats, but to do it to another beloved figure, to conservatives, somebody who fought the COVID wars, somebody who fought the culture wars, and is clearly the future of the Republican Party, isn't going to sit well. So I think President Trump is in for a fight at the very least. And actually fighting it out with Ron DeSantis may be the best thing for Ron DeSantis, because it's going to destroy the Democrat narrative that if Ron DeSantis is just a puppet of Trump, if Ron DeSantis has to go ahead and beat him in a primary, which I think likely now. Yeah,
a lot of keen followers are thinking that we're going to see two young people go head-to-head in 2024, Ron DeSantis and, of course, a big star shining above the governor of California from the Democratic side. You don't think so?
No, he's going to go the way of Kamala. California does not produce good politicians for the Democrats, because California is a one-party state. It's a machine. All they have to do is show up and they get elected. Everybody thought this about Kamala Harris too. She was a senator from California, raised a lot of money, and she collapsed before Iowa and New Hampshire, very early in the race, before the very first votes were cast. Gavin Newsom will raise a lot of money, make a lot of California, a lot of flash, but it's not going anywhere, because even on the Democrat side, California does not play. It doesn't play in the Super Tuesday Democrat states. Secondly, for you to believe that Gavin Newsom is going to be the nominee, you have to believe that all of the African-American Black voters in the American South, which constitute the bulk of the Super Tuesday states, are going to turn on the first female Black vice president in favor of a California white male. And the math on that, the delegate race to the nomination, just doesn't add up.
Because it doesn't look like Joe Biden will be in a position to run as much as he says he will.
Yeah, exactly. So the question then becomes who it is. And you have to look at the path to the Democrat nomination. And that goes through South Carolina, all all of the American South, where on the Democrat primary side, it's overwhelmingly African American. And nobody who comes out of Super Tuesday on the Democrat side ever really loses the nomination because they run up such a score in delegates. So you have to believe that Gavin Newsom is going someplace, or to believe that it's going to be anybody other than Kamala Harris. You have to believe that tens of millions of black people are going to turn on the first female black vice president in Democrat primaries.
Yep. All right. Well, I've watched this with my popcorn all week. It's fascinating viewing. It really is, because it's so complicated. It's got so many edges. I'll leave it with you with this one question: is this the end of Donald Trump? Do you think the midterms?
I think so. I think, to quote Winston Churchill, it may not be the beginning of the end, but it's certainly, well, actually, you know what? It is the beginning of the end, because there is now somebody else that occupies that space. And all the people that supported Trump, we agreed with him on the issues. And, we kind of looked the other way on kind of his obnoxious, the way he carries himself and all of that, even though we kind of liked it a little bit when he stuck it to the Democrats. But we now have, the Republican Party now has a proven fighter in that space that lines up the same way issue-wise with Donald Trump, which is why we all supported him. So yeah. I think he's got somebody else is filling that space now.
Look, and to be honest with you, just as a random comment, I think it's a positive for American politics, because he's young and he can bring that next wave through. Good on you, John.
Good on you. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Absolutely, mate. I'll put it in the diary.